Hmm. Well, good morning. It's nice to have that moment of connection before I start talking, which really helps to solidify, I think, any verbiage that might need it. And I'm reminded in that I'm always in need of support and that solidification that comes from connecting with the Christ mind and just taking that moment to go within and have that little flash of light, that connecting, grounding moment where purpose and experience and everything all come together to be able to express through the verbiage the nature of life eternal, which has nothing to do with this body or this world. So in this series, this is episode 5. Just going to straighten this up, I think. Episode 5 of my Spiritual Experiences series, which I'm putting together as a kind of a, I don't know, just as a reference, I suppose. I don't know. But in 27 years or something of doing this and walking this path of radical forgiveness, I've spoken to hundreds and probably even thousands of people here and there that, especially online these days, that like to tell you their experiences. And whilst any experience you have is automatically in the past and any concern about it is only attributed to ego, the nature of the healing modality that comes through the experiences is beyond human understanding. You just know that it happens and you don't know how, and that's why we call it a miracle. So experience number 5, this one occurred not long after my awakening in 1997. I'd had my awakening experience, my union with God or enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, in Byron Bay, which I will do. That'll probably be the next video, actually. But and my house where I was living at the time was about an hour and a half away on the old road up over the mountain, out the back of Mawullumbar. It used to take me about an hour and a half to get there. And I'd been practicing faith in all sorts of different things and just trusting the universe, and that had become a very important part of my personal discipline and devotion. I hadn't really mastered the Course in Miracles yet, and I still don't know if I have, or I wouldn't be here. But I was attending at the healing centre there where my awakening occurred every weekend. I was going down for the weekend, just staying the weekends down there. And eventually I was confronted by Greta at the door one day, and she said, if you're going to be here, you're here full time like everybody else, and otherwise don't come back. And I was very grateful to her for that certainty and for that determination of her in a direction to be able to present me with that alternative and to that uncompromising point of view. I did end up moving there full time, but during the period, getting a bit sidetracked, during the period where I was going down and back on the weekends, I was only working part-time, and for whatever reason, oh that's right, I'd had an accident. I was hit by a drunk driver on the back road coming home one night. My girlfriend and I were driving home, and this guy crossed over onto the other side of the road. It was night time, country road, wet road. He'd been drinking heavily, and it didn't go well. And my car was off the road for about 6 weeks. It's all coming back to me. It's funny how you can't remember something until you really need it for a true purpose, and then boop, there it is. But anyway, so I'd made a decision this particular day anyway to cut to the chase, to hitchhike, to trust and to have faith. And I was going to hitchhike to Byron Bay, an hour and a half drive, not far. I thought all I had to do was get from my place in the mountains down to the highway, which if I had a car was about 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes if it was busy on the roads. And I managed to hitchhike into town, so I got a lift in the back of somebody's ute and got into town. Now, just to paint the picture, in those days I had long hair down to my belt line, and the girls at the community where I'd been staying, or commune where I'd been staying, had started to turn my hair into dreadlocks. So I was a bit of a feral looking character, probably a bit more than I am today. And I never used to wear any shoes. I never wore shoes anywhere. Usually I would only wear a sarong or a pair of fisherman's pants or something like that, you know, those Thai fisherman's pants, because I thought that was cool, man. You look the part wearing them. And anyway, so I was hitchhiking and I got to town, and from town it was like over the bridge, and it was like a 15-minute walk to the highway. So I just sort of just walked that part, no drama. So I walked there, and I'm headed south, walking with my thumb out, trying to get a lift, and nobody was picking me up. Not surprising with how I looked. But in my mind, I'm determined I'm going to get there. The universe will provide, you know. So anyway, I got to this big mango tree. It was a hot day. I got to this big mango tree, and I thought I'll stand here in the shade of this tree and I'll just hitch from here, because it was easy for cars to pull in. And I was standing there for a long time and nobody was coming, and I was getting very despondent with the idea and wondering if I'd made a mistake and going through all this doubt and everything. And I thought, no, I'm going to keep the faith, no matter what, keep the faith. And I said a little prayer right then. It's like, Father, I need help. I want to have faith and believe in you, and I've had this experience of you, and whatever that prayer was. But it occurred to me when I'd finished my little prayer there that I'd wait for 12 cars, and if I hadn't been picked, I don't know why 12, it's just sort of the 12 disciples, the 12 tribes, you know, of Judah. I thought I'll wait for 12 cars. If I don't get picked up by 12 cars, and I realised somewhere in my mind I'm trying to put God to the test here, you know, like hold God to the test. But anyway, that was it. It was bloody hot, and if I wasn't going to get to Byron, I'd just go home. So I waited, and one car would go by like every couple of minutes. It wasn't a busy part of the highway. And it would have been probably a Saturday morning, I'd say. But I stood there with my thumb out, and 11 cars went by, and I thought, one more car, and then I'm going home. And the 12th car pulled in. Right, the 12th car pulled in to pick me up, and it was a white late model, and that's like 97 or 98 we're talking, so whatever the models around then were, it was a brand new one, I'm guessing. A late model white Mercedes-Benz convertible with the top back, you know, top down, and there was a young couple in the front, white leather seats, everything, and they were wearing white, and they were a very young sort of preppy couple, very well groomed, and I guess you'd call them yuppies or high society or something like that. But they were very, very, you could tell they were like had a very high energy about them, and achievers and all of that sort of thing. And I'm like gobsmacked. I get into the back of this car and I'm like, wow, what the hell? God sent me this incredible chariot, you know, like this beautiful white Mercedes and this lovely couple and the gold trim and everything. And they took me right to where I needed to go in Byron Bay, dropped me off at the end of Belongil Road, and we had an incredible conversation about life, the universe and everything all the way down. And I think they were more sitting in the front going, and I was trying to tell them, because I'd just had an awakening, a full awakening, and like I'd tell anyone that would listen, was trying to tell them how there is no world, it's all just a dream, and they're like, yep, no worries, and as if they didn't already know. It was funny. But I just really love that story, you know. It's like when you ask for help, it's like you don't get just what you want. You get like, God just wants you to know, like totally that, dude, I'm looking out for you. I'll send you a freaking Mercedes. With a couple of angels in the front. It was beautiful. So I got to Byron Bay, had a great weekend. Can't remember how I got back. I think a couple of the brothers from Byron drove me home. Actually, I think it was Gina and Annie, maybe. And maybe Daniela. I remember a few brothers coming up to my place, and I think that was that weekend. But anyway. All right, that's it. That's experience number 5, I think. And I'll go back in time just to before that one where I had my awakening in the next one. And I know I've done 1 or 2 videos of that awakening before that experience, but I'll do a new one, a fresh one, just for the purposes of this series, and just to keep them all together there for like an almanac or something. I don't know what it's called, a catalogue or a thing. All right, peace.